Hi, this is Katura with BlueNotary, and today we're talking about the durable power of attorney, one of the most common documents you'll prepare and one signers get wrong more than almost anything else. Before we start, this is for the people preparing this document, like paralegals, legal assistants, family members that are helping out, for someone who'll then take it to a notary to sign. The prep happens before the notarization, not by the notary. So let's make sure it's right before it leaves your hands. A durable power of attorney lets one person, called the principal, appoint someone else, the agent or attorney in fact, to handle their financial affairs. The word that matters most is durable. That means the document stays valid even if the principal later becomes incapacitated. That's the entire reason this version exists. A regular power of attorney dies the moment the principal can't make decisions. A durable one keeps working, which is exactly when the family needs it most. So picture the situation. An adult child comes to you because their aging parent needs help managing accounts, paying bills, or dealing with the bank. Or maybe a spouse is heading into a medical procedure and wants someone able to act if things go sideways. That's the human story behind this form, and it helps keep it in mind while you're filling it out because the emotional stakes can be high and then errors can be easy. Now, when you're preparing this before it ever reaches the signing, there are 3 fields that decide everything. First, the effective date. The document either takes effect immediately upon signing, or it springs into effect only when the principal is declared incapacitated. Signers check the wrong box here all the time. Somebody wants immediate help, but accidentally selects springing, and now the agent can't do anything until a doctor certifies incapacity. You need to confirm this out loud with the signer. Second, the scope of powers. So banking, real estate, taxes, gifting, and so on. Many of these are handled with a checklist or initials. Pay special attention to gifting authority. In most states, the power to make gifts has to be explicitly granted and separately initialed because it's the power open to most abuse. If it's not initialed, the agent won't be able to do it. Third, the successor agent. That's the backup, the person who steps in if the first agent can't serve. If that line is blank, ask why before it goes to the notary. It's not required, but an empty successor line is often just an oversight, and it's far easier to fix now than later. In terms of witnesses, this is where you have to know your state. Some states require this document to be notarized only. Others require 2 witnesses in addition to the notary. In a remote online session, that matters because your witnesses may need to appear on the call also. And one last practical thing that saves sessions. The principal's ID has to match the name on the document exactly. If the document says Robert, but the ID says Bob, or there's a maiden name mismatch, that can stop the notarization. Have your signer check that in advance. So get those pieces right. An effective date, the scope, a successor, witnesses, and the name match. And this document will move through a remote session smoothly. Like, follow, and subscribe if this was useful. And remember, whether you're preparing documents or notarizing them, BlueNotary.us is where online notarization happens.